in and be a part of the show, sign up with a screen name, and you can chat it. So we are live on YouTube tonight, our very first show, and we're with you for a while here. A ton to get into. We'll react to the Celtics' victory over Charlotte tonight and look ahead to their big game on Wednesday. The Red Sox are in action in Oakland. I do want to preview that before the first pitch at about 9:40. So we'll do that coming up in a bit. The Iowa LSU game is about to end. We'll give you some reaction to that one. And plenty more here. So you can call in at 617-779-0985. A lot on the table tonight, and there's some rumors regarding the Patriots and, potentially who they could draft at quarterback with the number 3 overall pick, or is it the number 3 overall pick? So all that on the table tonight here on 98.5 The Sports Hub, as we're with you until midnight at 617-779-0985. So Celtics win 118-104 tonight. They were led by Jason Tatum in his 25 points. Jaylen Brown not playing tonight. He's been dealing with some ailments. I think he hurt his hand the other night. But they didn't need him tonight. They won by double digits without him. And they got 20 points from Kristaps Porzingis and 19 from Derek White. Story Sam Hauser. I know there's this belief of people that feel that Hauser won't make an impact or won't matter when it comes to the playoffs. I just disagree. Guy's one of the best three-point shooters they have on the team. He makes volume threes per game. There was some stat tonight. I'll give that to you coming up in a minute here. But when it comes to the Celtics and their three-point percentages and their three-pointers in general, Sam Hauser is a huge part of it. And here's the stat. When it comes to Hauser, right, he has hit, I'll just pull this up. He has hit 5 threes or more. A lot of games this year. And I think he had 25 points tonight. Hauser's hit at least 6 threes in 4 of his last 10 games. He's been really good. And I do think he'll be part of that rotation when it comes to playoff time. So I understand when I give you the name Sam Hauser. Doesn't excite you too much. Dude can shoot. He can play. He helps spread the floor. I think that's the most important thing if you want to be critical about the Celtics. Late in games. Not having spacing. I think Hauser can help that. Now, be a question if he's on the floor in those situations, but when they do to get into trouble, he can help it and he can help knock it down. So without Jaylen Brown tonight, the team showed up, played well. Al Horford got the start tonight, 15 points, 5 rebounds in 25 minutes. Quiet night from Drew Holiday. And, you look at some of the offensive players from the Hornets, they got 23 points from Grant Williams tonight, but it was Mikal Bridges who kind of went off. But a very quiet night from Drew Holiday, 30 minutes, 1 from 11 from the field. And Peyton Pritchard in his 28 minutes tonight, 7 points off the bench. Celtics 59-16. Just a couple of things. They went on a 6-game road trip. They finished 4-2. The 2 losses were against Atlanta back-to-back by a combined 3 points. They now return home. 6 of the final 7 games of the year. They can clinch the best record by beating Oklahoma City in their next game on Wednesday night. It'll be nationally televised. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA, is in the MVP conversation. Look where he has Oklahoma City in the West. It was a 12-day road trip for the Green. They finished things off tonight. Tatum, Porzingis, Jaylen Brown had the night off. Sam Hauser goes off for 25 off the bench. A very successful night for the Boston Celtics. And we'll get into it a little bit more coming up in just a bit because I did want to highlight just some things regarding the Boston Red Sox before their game kicks off tonight. But, this was supposed to be the toughest or one of the hardest trips of the year for them. I do think this 12 days that they were out there, they were working on things. I know that the both losses to Atlanta weren't pretty, right? In the closing moments, the ISO, some of the turnovers, the fadeaway shots. I do think that they were working on things. I do. Now, is it inexcusable to lose to the Hawks in the way that they did, not scoring barely in overtime and letting Dejounte Murray outscore you? Yep. It's embarrassing, and it might have shocked some people. But I do think that they were working on a different defense. I believe that. I think this is the best team in the NBA. And, yep, they'll go out to 19-point leads, and other teams will go on a run. How do they sustain them? They were just a better team tonight. I'll agree with that. If someone wants to say, yeah, Joe, the Hornets stink, the Celtics were a better team, I'll give you that. But when they're undermanned and you get a 25-point performance from Sam Hauser, it's just the next man up. That's just what it is. That's how this team's successful this year. But I think they have been working on some things, and the best effort that we'll see this year, I hope, is on Wednesday night against Oklahoma City. It could be their final test. Go up against an MVP candidate, one of the better teams, national television. I think it's the last time you'll see the Celtics, at least their starting five and everyone healthy in their rotations for the rest of the year. Phone number 617-779-0985. We have a final in the women's game, but national NCAA tournament game. Iowa has defeated LSU 94-87. They've gone final. And I'll give you the box score in a bit, but respect on both sides. We know about this matchup. It was a rematch. It was highly anticipated. Caitlyn Clark versus some of the LSU players. They're showing nothing but respect to her right now. I'm watching the handshake line. Hugs, handshakes, no trash talk, good sportsmanship. I like seeing that in college sports personally. And I am curious to see what the ratings are on this one. But Iowa advances to its second straight Final Four on the back of Caitlyn Clark, who had a huge night tonight. Caitlyn Clark finished with 41 points, 7 rebounds, and if you really want to look into this one, 12 assists. She balled out in the biggest game of the year against an opponent she struggled against and a rematch everybody wanted to see. She was the star player tonight. She's been the star player in women's sports. 41-point performance to go to the Final Four. She might be the biggest star in college basketball, men and women. You know what? She is the biggest star in college basketball, men and women. I'll put Zach Edey up there, but what she does on a nightly basis, considering one's 7'4" and the other is Caitlyn Clark, best player in college sports, college basketball this year. Caitlyn Clark, 41-point performance tonight, 12 assists, 7 rebounds, had 2 steals. And Iowa is moving on. The other game later tonight is UConn and USC. UConn has a chance to go to the Final Four, and it's not often. And I believe it'll be the first time UConn men and women would make it. So you can react to that, too, as Iowa takes down LSU. I know people were anticipating that one for tonight. And then there's a couple of more there. NC State, South Carolina. They'll take on the winners of that one as well. So that should be very interesting. All right, we'll take a quick break coming up. We're on YouTube again. If you don't know how, you go to youtube.com. And you can go to 98.5 The Sports Hub. By the way, another thing you can do is hit reminders. So every time we go on, you'll get a reminder that we're on, and especially at night when we have the games. So you can join us here. We will take a quick break. I wanted to get into the Red Sox quickly. Their first pitch tonight is in about 10 minutes. Just kind of wanted to highlight their weekend and how important tonight's game would be. Coming off a win yesterday, but also playing against a dreadful team. We'll do all that coming up next. I'm Joe Murray here till midnight tonight. Skaz is here as well. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe. You're listening to Joe.
And we are live on 98.5 The Sports Hub and on YouTube. Hello, Twitches. That's what I'm just going to keep calling you that. Looks good. Looks sleekier. Is that the word, Skaz? Looks like a little bit better video quality. The chat is still bumping. We have some promos that are going on during the commercial breaks of all the shows. Looks very good, Skaz. I'm impressed with the all the work that our team has done, and great job to Tim Staskowitz and Sean Tempesta and all the guys for putting this together. So I like it, Skaz, and I know everyone's weird about Team Twitch, YouTube, but I think we've upgraded. We've dressed it up a little bit. Your thoughts, Skaz?
Yeah, I think it looks really good. Everything on the back end seems to be going so well so far, so let's not jinx it. But, yeah, it's pretty seamless so far.
All right. Well, I see the same old people in there. Bird's in there. Hi, Bird. WrestleMania's this weekend. What are you doing? Prince Humperdinck's back. Wayno! It's all the same old people. Look, everybody was in an uproar about it. You know, oh, man, I don't want to change. What about my hot dog points? And we got Shane. We got all the guys still in there. Some people are going by their government names, which is, I guess some people don't want to do that, but it looks way better. All right. So we mentioned the Red Sox are underway or about to be underway in Oakland tonight. Just wanted to shout out the pitching staff. It's only one time through the lineup, but it looked good. I think it went to plan. And if you look at it, between Bayo, Pivetta, Cutter Crawford, and Whitlock, you got Houck tonight. So one more time. This will be the complete time through the lineup. Only the four-time Red Sox starters have thrown 5 innings or more and allowed 2 runs or fewer in each of the team's first 4 games. Happened back in 2018. What'd they do in 2018? Ooh. They did it in 99, which I'll never forget, Pedro. And back in 1916, I have a World Series ring from them. Tris Speaker is. Anyways, 5 innings, 2 runs, 6 innings, 1 run, 6 innings, 1 run, no earned, and then 5 innings, 1 run. That's the Red Sox pitching staff over the last few games. And tonight you get Tanner Houck. Tanner Houck goes tonight. And you know what? There's no excuse for the Red Sox to not win this series. There's no excuse not to win this series. Oakland stinks. There might be more people on our YouTube chat tonight than at the Oakland A's game. Fact. Truth. I don't know. How many people? Can we see how many people are in this joint? We used to be able to do that.
55 right now.
Hey! 55 people watching us via a chat. Someone says Joe fits on YouTube. Did I not fit on Twitch? Serious question. Did I not fit? Anyway, so the Red Sox underway, but just wanted to mention the old pitching rankings. Listen to this one, Skaz. Opponent batting average, number 1 in the league. Walks, hits per innings pitched, number 1 in the league. Number 1. Walks to strikeout ratio, number 1. 2.04 ERA? What is this? Number 1. 35 innings, 45 strikeouts, 6 walks, 8 earned, 23 hits. Oh, so this is what they had in mind. Oh, forget about Jordan Montgomery or Snell or one of these other guys. They got their starting 5 right there. They know what they've been doing all along. I've seen this before. Forget what year it was. It was like Rick Porcello, Chris Sale. They all like went through the lineup once, and it was like, yeah, starting 5 is awesome. And then, so I've seen this before, but through 4 games, I'm very, very, very impressed. Also been impressed with Ceddanne Rafaela. If you want a reason to watch the games, just watch that kid. I got to add something for in or out tonight, Skaz. That as we're in live time, I got to add something.
I think I know what it is too.
Can you see it?
I think I can.
Can you see it?
I think I have a good idea of what it is.
When do we do in or out now? Because we're on until midnight tonight.
11:20 tonight.
All right. A little after 11 soda pop with a little in or out. If we made a drink, what would the in or out drink be? An energy drink, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, all right, we're going to do in or out tonight, 11:20. So if you're on the YouTube chat, you know what you can do? You can send us some things, but only the good ones will come on. You know, you got to give us good ones. It can't be something recycled or, it's got to be clean too.
Are you mixing it up in the chat yet?
I'm in there. I'm just sitting there.
Oh, you are? I wasn't sure if that was you.
So it's funny. I haven't been on YouTube. I used to do my podcast just sitting here. It was during the pandemic, and I was home every day, and I would just DM people. Hey, man, you want to join me? And they would. And so it was actually something really good. And then, they called me a lot to work, and it kind of died down a little bit. But I'm still under just sitting here. Might have to update that at some point. Maybe I'll come up with, something to counteract Prince Humperdinck. Because I still think that's a great name. Someone has chess poems. Dennis E. Einbein is back. And JWG. We're doing baseball before food. Yes. But speaking of that, did you see that lobster burger from yesterday? I gotta tweet this thing out. I know we'll react to everything. All right, you got to see this thing. It's the Mets championship burger with lobster fondue in Maine Lobster at Citi Field. Guys, it's only $28.89. How many beers can you get for $28.89?
2, maybe.
2. I could now if there's I see some green in there, so we got to double check to see if it's celery or salad. Either way, they got to pull that thing out of it, or I might have to stick my hands in it. But a lobster burger, look at that thing. Oh, a little butter on the side. I would just press the burger down, put butter on it, and cut it. I wouldn't even use my hands. So, yeah, back to the game. Red Sox go down in the first. And Tanner Houck will come out to the mound in just a little bit. The phone number here is 617-779-0985. We reacted to the Celtics win tonight. Also, Caitlyn Clark went off for 41 points. Guys, I wanted to get your opinion. Have you heard from your old man who was at the game tonight?
I have not heard. He was texting me before the game and a little bit during. I have not heard from him since. I'm guessing he's trying to get out of there now.
You think it lived up to the hype, the game?
Yeah, I do.
I do too.
Think it was, maybe the last 2 minutes wasn't great as Iowa pulled away, but it was, the first 3 quarters were exactly what you wanted as a fan.
First thing I hated about it, they play quarters. I hate that. I know. I prefer the first half, second half when it comes to college. It was an adjustment for me.
You're used to it, yeah.
It was 45-45 at halftime. And Iowa went on a run, right, hitting threes. And although Caitlyn Clark hit 41 points tonight, her 12 assists are so impressive. She does this often, right? She has big scoring nights, but also has big assist nights. She was really close to a triple-double. And LSU was rebounding the ball so well that the fact she even had 7 rebounds tonight was impressive because, the girl Reese from LSU had 20 rebounds tonight. So that's how they stayed in the game. But it was the outside shot for Iowa that put the game away. But, listen, of everything that's on tonight, it's WrestleMania week. Monday Night Raw's on. You had the Celtics on. We got the Red Sox coming up in a bit. The UConn game's on right now versus USC. I'm curious to see the ratings on this one. But I think this might have been the most watched women's game of all time.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, the hype around it lived up to it. It was a rematch from last year. Caitlin Clark's, you said it earlier, she's the biggest star in probably all of college sports, not just, college basketball. And our guy Glasheen was tweeting out the team, the Indiana Fever, that have the number 1 pick. Tickets are already going for close to $500 for their home opener, and that's all because of Caitlin Clark.
Absolutely. What a game, though. It can't. I know at the end it was fouls and LSU tried to keep it close, but I mentioned at the end, I'm not a handshake guy. Either was the predecessor before me, but I liked the sportsmanship tonight from both teams. I didn't like what I saw last year, and I think that brought the excitement for tonight's game and the rematch and everything like that. Caitlin Clark was the best player on the floor. She willed her team to victory tonight. She was the difference. She was the reason, kept her composure all night long. It's outstanding.
Yeah, it even got to the level where she was hitting shots and the LSU players were just shaking their heads. Like, there's nothing we can do.
And the coach from LSU embraced her very well after the game, she's had a nice little interesting year as well, huh?
A polarizing figure, we'll say.
Yeah, right. They had a nice touching moment at the end here. And, hey, it's not often we talk women's college basketball here, but as I said earlier, the best player in college basketball, of all of college basketball, is Caitlin Clark. And I do think that Zach Edey last night, what he did for Purdue, on his back, almost 40 points. What do you have, 39? If he hit his free throws, he would have had 50. They're the 2 best players in college, right? Zach Edey's barely a first-round pick. Barely. Caitlin Clark can get offers WNBA, Big 3 if she wants. Hell, Barstool will bring her in for a pickup game. Why not? But where she's at right now, guys, I go back to like the Rebecca Lobo days, Cheryl Swoops, like those names, those girls, those women could not make the money that Caitlin Clark is going to make. I mean, her sports cards are great. Her memorabilia is great right now. I'm sure her jersey sales are up. But you want to talk about polarizing? Wonder if she's the biggest name in women's college sports.
Maybe just all college sports.
Well, this year, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm like, as far as women, like as far as female athletes go, how many have done it in college? Like where they made their name. And again, I remember Rebecca Lobo at UConn, that was huge, but they had a great coach to go with it.
Yeah, like Breanna Stewart was incredible, but it was the UConn thing. This is like Caitlin Clark's almost her own entity at this point. Like brand. She's bigger than Iowa basketball.
And out of Iowa, right? Out of Iowa.
Like all those amazing players out of UConn, there's, hundreds of them, and that's, it's UConn. That's what they do. But she's kind of separated herself because it is Iowa.
It's just, who would have thought that the greatest basketball player in the world would be coming from the College of Iowa? But when I think of women's college basketball, again, over the years, there's been some really great players. Some great players. To me, though, and I actually just read an article. I sent it to you earlier, guys, but it's projected that this is going to be the worst NBA draft of all time, meaning the talent. Players can make more money staying in college or transferring schools with the NIL deals. So why go into the draft? And this is why I wonder about a guy like Zach Edey. Like they play UConn, right? So what happens now? He gets bounced. He might stick around the NBA for a little bit, probably play overseas. But all the money he could have ever made was at Purdue. It hasn't caught up to the games yet, the NIL, right? It hasn't caught up to college football yet, but I think it could hit college basketball because a lot of the coaches are starting to say, see you later, right? Calipari, who knows what happens with him. But when it comes to college basketball, I wonder if it could hurt the game of the NBA because it hasn't hurt the NFL yet. This NIL might catch up, especially the draft. And guys can play overseas or in the G League or what else?
But Edie is still like he's the best player in college basketball. Obviously, he's not a great NBA prospect, but he's not marketable. He's not like
You're right.
his game isn't marketable. So a guy like him, I can't imagine he's gonna hurt the NBA in any way just because the money's not there for him. I mean, remember Luka Garza? We were talking to Iowa men's basketball player. He was the best basketball player in the country. And he doesn't even play in the NBA. He's like a G League player for the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, I think Edie's a better player than that, mostly because of his size, so he'll get a shot. But it's the same thing with him, where he's a fringe NBA player, but he's so good because of his size at the college level that he's going to make money there.
Big money. I'm curious how the NIL will affect the NBA. Man, I saw that draft. I saw the draft projections, and I went, woof. And you know how everyone was trading off second-round picks? They don't want them. And didn't they move the draft to 2 nights? Oh, God.
I mean, that's good news for Bronny, right, if it's a down draft class?
Yeah, what's the story with him? Is he going to come out? What's the deal with that? I don't even, was he even good?
He's an okay defensive player, but yeah, he needs more time.
Wow. Yeah, the top number 1 projected pick is Cody Williams out of Colorado. You guys probably saw him in the tournament. And the Dalton Neck kid, you probably saw him last night as well. But just reacting to Caitlyn Clark, and some people in the old chat mentioned what was her name from UConn? I just saw her a little while ago. Was it Taurasi? Deanna Taurasi was one of the best players I've ever seen. Absolutely.
Candace Parker was dominant.
Dominant. Caitlyn Clark, I mean, they did it in the WNBA level too. So, but Caitlyn Clark's impact on the college game and beyond, we'll see. But I can't remember a player of her magnitude. I just can't. Your thoughts at 617-779-0985. I'll take one quick call before we get to the headlines here. Willie's in the car. Hey, Willie.
Hey, guys. I'm just tuning in the second, and I don't know a whole lot about the players making money and stuff, but I get the gist of what you're saying. But your opinion on if a guy's a fringe player, it won't affect the NBA or professional sports, doesn't work, because if the guy from Purdue, if he makes a lot of money, in college, that's gonna drive the market up for the other players, which will directly affect the professional sports teams and maybe how much they make later on.
That's my point. I think it might have came late to that. That's my point.
Yep.
I think we haven't seen it yet, but
right,
I think it's going to.
Yeah, I'm just saying your co-host said, "Oh, he's a fringe player. He's not marketable. This and that."
Well, he's not.
It drives the market up, though, for everyone else. For the guys who are marketable, for the guys who are going to go to the NBA in the last 10 years.
Have you watched the tournament? Who do you think, if you've watched, and it's okay if you're ignorant and you didn't see it, but who do you think was the biggest name in college basketball this year?
You got me. I mean, I'm pulling for UConn.
Do you get what I'm saying, though? You probably could name Zion Williamson in the past.
Yeah. Well, right. But if we're talking money, Zion Williamson would make, 5 times what the guy from Purdue will make now, because the Purdue guy's driving the market up. So that will affect professional sports, won't it?
I don't know. I mean, if Zach Edey's going to be a late first round or a second round pick, he's going to make no money. Right? And he'll make more at Purdue, but he can't play at Purdue anymore because he's out of eligibility. So technically, he could make millions in college.
Sure. But, I guess I'm looking at the big picture. If you're saying the guys who are sort of fringe players, that it's not going to catch up to the NBA yet, that it will, because these fringe players will make more, and then the other guys will make more as well. And then maybe they won't care as much to make it to the NBA, maybe.
Ooh, well, that's not good either. I'll stay in college. Tim Duncan would have got paid, right? Imagine all those years he stayed at Wake Forest. Whoo, baby. Who cares about the 5 NBA championships and the money he could have made? Listen, Cody Williams shouldn't excite you, right? Dalton Necht doesn't excite you.
No, and I get what he's trying to say, that, competition is good for the market and stuff like that, but if Zach Edey's only so marketable, I don't think that helps other guys. Like a guy like Zion helps other guys because he's so marketable. But with Zach Edey, he can only get to a certain level because they know their investment, ends as soon as he tries to go to the NBA because he won't be as successful. Whereas someone you invest in Zion at that younger age, he's gonna, he's paying dividends for Duke when he's in the NBA.
By the way, our good friend, the vending machine.
DJ Burns Jr.
DJB Jr. We did a DBJ Jr. bumper sticker for this show. But the old vending machine could be a left tackle, some say.
Might be getting to that later in the show.
Yes. Oh, the vending machine
He was on full display last night.
The vending machine nickname. I would like Maz to do tiers with nicknames this week. That's got to be one of them, man. The vending machine. Oh, so good. All right. We'll get to the headlines here. And we'll give you the score. Whoa, the Red Sox. Look what they're doing. Woo! We'll get to the headlines right now.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, the home of the Patriots, the Celts, the Revs, and the Bruins. Boston's home for sports is 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Station. Sports Hub headlines.
All right, first things first, the Celtics winners tonight in Charlotte. They took care of business tonight. Led by Jason Tatum's 25 points. They win 118-104. They wrap up their six-game road trip. They went 4-2. Their two losses, of course, were to Atlanta. And they'll have a big night Wednesday versus Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder at the NCAA tournament. LSU advances to the Final Four. Excuse me. LSU not going to the Final Four. Iowa going to the Final Four. Caitlyn Clark's 41 points was the difference. UConn and USC right now underway. Tied at 19, 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. Red Sox in action right now. They lead Oakland 3-0. 3-0 right now. Red Sox with the lead. Let me tell you what happened here because I looked up and I went, whoa. Tristan Casas with an RBI single, and Ceddanne Rafaela hit a sacrifice fly, and then Yoshida scored on an error. So now it's 3-0 in the top of the second inning. And Bruins off until Tuesday when they take on Nashville. Headlines, they are brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Their at-home program, as you covered, receive the same great program and results, then receive free support for life. Awaken180weightloss.com. I'm Joe Murray. Your next update in 30 minutes.
Marchand back of the net. Shoots, he scores!
This is Brad Marchand.
Brad Marchand.
Every Bruins game on 98.5, the Sports Hub.
The Frenchie said that, whoever the Frenchie is. Wasn't French one of the characters in Departed? Who was lighting the fireworks outside? And he went to the door and he's like, you pulled over somebody at the Data Mall. I think that was it. Anyways, Red Sox up 3-0. Caitlyn Clark is the greatest college athlete of all time. I said that. I don't mean it, but you know what? She is this year. Men and women. She's the best college athlete in sports. Who's the best college athlete Oh, Jaden Daniels. Now that I think about it, who is the best college I know we're doing college sports tonight at 10 o'clock on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Other shows don't do this. They think that this is not for the audience, and if you don't like it, I apologize, but I am not sorry. I think she's the best athlete in college sports. Jaden Daniels was outstanding this year. Marvin Harrison Jr. was one of the best college football players there was. Maybe there's a hockey player that I can't think of a name of.
Macklin Celebrini is going to be the number 1 overall pick. He plays at BU. He's a stud.
Yeah. So you think he's bigger than
No,
Caitlyn Clark?
It's college hockey. Caitlyn Clark is far bigger, but he will be the number 1 pick.
I think she's the best college athlete this year. I think she's the best college athlete. I think she's the most popular athlete. Caleb Williams will be, he'll be the number 1 pick, but he wasn't the best athlete this year. Jaden Daniels, I have him out there.
Yeah, he won the Heisman. He was awesome.
Marvin Harrison was one of the best players.
Paige Buchers on UConn is up there, too.
Okay, that's a good one.
She gets a ton of NIL deals.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, wow. All right, well, we'll continue that discussion if you'd like, as we're here until midnight tonight at 617-779-0985. Hey, Skaz, I haven't had a chance to ask you about the Celtics wrapping up their 6-game road trip tonight with a win in Charlotte, 4-2 on the road trip. Their only 2 losses were to Atlanta by a combined 3 points, and all their losses this year have been a combined 10 points, or at least since February. So 4 losses since February, 10 points. And they're 59-16. They return home now. 6 of their last 7 games are at home. They can clinch the best record in the NBA by beating Oklahoma City on Wednesday night, national television here. So it was 12 days on the road. Finished the Hornets off. We saw really good defense from Jaylen Brown. We saw Jason Tatum still continue to put up 20 points tonight, but had his struggles late and was criticized for it. And Sam Hauser was great coming off the bench. So, 7 more games to go, returning home? What did you think of the road trip?
I mean, obviously the 2 losses to Atlanta are the low point, but I thought tonight was kind of an important night. Like you mentioned, the OKC game on Wednesday. Tonight could have been an easy, we're heading back to Boston, get out of town, kind of pack it in night, look ahead spot with OKC on Wednesday, and they took care of business. That's all this team really needs to do at this point. I think Sean and Max mentioned it. They win on Wednesday. They've locked up the best record in the NBA. So, yeah, get everybody healthy. 4-2 on the road trip. Never going to complain about that. Just the way it happened. You obviously want them to improve. But all in all, a pretty good road trip. Everybody's relatively healthy. It was good to see Holiday get back out there and play some minutes. His shot looks okay. Whatever dead arm symptoms he still has, that's obviously somewhat of a concern. But at this point, it's maybe you play everybody in the OKC game. That's the last game you go really hard in. And then after that, it's let's get healthy. Let's get to the playoffs. Yeah,
I would have everyone on deck. I'm talking Jaylen Brown, your starting 5, your rotation. You set it all up on Wednesday. Oklahoma City's a damn good basketball team. What Sam Presti has done, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is. How many guys turn into that type of player? Like, I think Tyrese Halliburton's getting there. Just some guys have upside. He is absolutely dynamic. And you know what? Jokic is the MVP. He is. SGA, though? He's right there. He's past Tatum, and people won't like that one. And I know at the end of the year, I'll look at it and say, wow, best player on the best team all year. I do think that Tatum's probably third. Tatum also had some the late game stuff. I know it concerns you Celtics fans. I know it does. There are just some things I think we have to know. Late in games, They want Jason Tatum with the ball. I'll also tell you this. I want Jason Tatum to take the shot. I know he has the lowest percentage of taking shots late in the game of all the starting five. I want Jason Tatum taking the shot. Do I want him with the ball pounding it for 20 seconds? No. Do I want him taking the shot? Yes. Do I want it to be a fadeaway? No. Do I want him to take the shot? Yes. If they designed a play to get it to Kristaps Porzingis, I'm fine with that too. But I know they're a great team. I know Drew Holiday can shoot 60% from the corner. I know that. I know what Jaylen Brown can do. I know what Derek White can do. I want Jason Tatum taking the shot. Doesn't mean he has to have the basketball. I want him taking the shot, and you should too. And here's the thing. Who else? If Jaylen Brown gets the ball, what if he turns it over? We've already seen it. We know it. We know that last year Brown turned the ball over late. We've even seen Tatum turn the ball over late. We should not want them with the basketball late in the game. But I do want them taking the shots. And I want Tatum taking it first. And Porzingis is there to help if Brown can't do it. But this is what I've learned about this trip. Don't necessarily want them dribbling the basketball. I would like them to create a play to shoot it. And I still think there's questions about Joe Mazzulla. But overall, I think this is the best team in the league. They're going to be the hardest team to beat 4 times in a playoff series. And yes, I think that they can front run their way to a championship. It won't be easy. There'll be nights where you go, man, they don't have it. But through 59 wins this year and about to be 60, I will bet on that percentage. And if things get tight, they will be tested. And they will have to get over the hump. Drew Holiday said it best the other day. He knows that they want to get rid of those things now. I still want Jason Tatum taking that shot. Oh, he can't do it. He's late. He's not clutch. I still want him. Who else? Who else? And you know what I heard this week, guys? Oh, it drove me crazy. You might have been with me. Oh, Tatum, he's not the guy. He doesn't have it in him, blah, blah, blah. Who else? You know, we all own horses. Well, I don't own a horse. But you know when you bet on a horse? That's your horse. The Celtics' horse is Jason Tatum. That's their horse. You're betting him. You're betting him to the finish line. And if you lose with him. You can't just trade off Jason Tatum. He is your horse. So it's easy to be critical about, him dribbling the ball. Yep. Criticize him all day for that. Not getting the ball over the line in 8 seconds. Criticize him for that. But you know what? When they played Denver and lost, I wanted Tatum to take that shot. He missed it, and you can be critical about him missing it, but I want him taking the shot. You should too. And you know what? He even said it himself. He's due. He's hoping. He even thought one of these was going to drop. I think he's due. So as much as you might not like it or are concerned about it, he's your horse. Ride him, baby. That's the way you're going to win the championship this year. 617-779-0985. Here until midnight tonight. I'm Joe Murray. Skaz is here as well. And all you guys on YouTube as well on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sick of being upsold at gyms?
For just $300 more, you'll reach Sweat Platinum.
At Planet Fitness, you'll get energy without the upsell. It's fitness that fits you.
No, it's
Goes right by him in for the two-hand slam as Miller was just standing still.
Miller time.
School is in session.
Old school commercial. It's Miller time.
20.6 rebounds for Tatum, having another big game here in Charlotte. Celtics by a dozen.
All right, back here at 98.5, the Sports Hub of Joe Murray. Ooh, midnight seems a long way away. But you know what? We get to hang out with everybody. Get to hang out, stretch them out. We're on YouTube for the first time tonight. It's growing on some people. It's growing on us. I see Topher in there. I see the Frenchie, who I still don't know yet. Wayno I met. Hi, Wayno. Thank you for your service. American Boy. Einbein. Just going to say all your names. Prince Humperdinck. Oh, we got a no-hitter tonight? 617-779-0985. That's the phone number. If you would like to jump aboard. All right. So a couple of Jason Tatum things quickly. I saw someone in the chat. I'll pull it up in a minute here. I forget who said it. I would like to talk to them about it. But someone mentioned that Jason Tatum doesn't show up in the playoffs. It was American Boy 79. He said that. And I looked up Jason Tatum's average in his playoff career. 94 games. He has averaged 23.8 points, 7.6 rebounds, and 4.6 assists. So if you want to use Joe math, that is 24, 8, and 5. Last time I checked, 24 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists a game is very, very good. So, well, not if he can't show up in the finals. And so I looked it up again. Jason Tatum in the finals averaged 21.5 points per game, 7 assists, and 7 rebounds in 6 NBA Finals games. That's all very good. I know the team lost. I know that numbers in the end don't matter, but don't say he doesn't show up, because he does. And I don't want to use the age thing on you, because LeBron did that recently. And we've talked about it for years. How most players, when they're in their 26, 27, 28 years, that is when they win a championship. So guys, I know you had some numbers on Tatum as well regarding the playoffs. I was just giving you the 94 games and the NBA Finals. So I know you had some numbers regarding Tatum as well.
Yeah, he's clutch. I mean,
clutch?
Any metric you want to measure it by, any metric, literally any metric you want to use, Jason Tatum is a clutch to a very clutch player in the NBA. He leads all scorers, all players in the league in clutch field goal percentage the last couple of years in the playoffs. His scoring is up in the clutch. I just don't understand the narrative. Yes, he misses late game shots. You remember the misses.
Don't say narrative.
Yeah, the narrative.
I'm not sure if you've heard that today. You can't say narrative, because did you hear this today?
I did not hear this
today.
Okay.
All right, then. I guess there's a show that doesn't like the word or using the word narrative. So we got to come up with something else, guys. But go ahead. No, keep going. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. That's what happens. See, we're on later now, so we probably during the day we miss. But, today I heard a narrative conversation. Some people don't want to use the narrative word. It's kind of like you either cover the team or you're a fan of the team. So I kind of find guys, I'm not a green teamer. You work the games. You have to. I'm not saying you're a green teamer. It's just that you watch the games. You work them. You grab the highlight when they hit a shot. Like, you have this, you're involved in the game and notice some of the characteristics and behaviors in the game. I'm here every night just watching it, and I'm like, man, that Sam Hauser's really something, huh? Because he is something. Nobody cares about Sam Hauser, but I do, because I think he's going to help this team win a championship. But there's not a narrative. We'll come up with a better word. But there is this thing that if they don't shoot well or late in games. So I do think there is something to it where they need to prove it. But what was the statistic you had?
No, so there's a ton of statistics you can go off, but the effective field goal percentage in the clutch, Tatum shoots around 50%, which is very high for that statistic. But just the other thing, too, is the reason it sticks out so much when they aren't clutch and, Tatum does miss those shots is because you're not used to it. Because this team wins so much. They're, what did you say, 56-16 or whatever it is, or 59-16. All they do is win, and they win by such a comfortable margin that those close losses are going to stick in people's minds more. But by any metric you can measure, Tatum is as clutch as just about any other player in the entire league.
So I just did a little Google. Another word for narrative. And so I wanted to get some narrative synonyms. A story, an account, a version. What is something that we can call it that's not the narrative? Like what is something that we can call it? Like, the story is at the end of games they struggle. Or the story is when they don't shoot over 40%, they lose. Or the story is whenever Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum late in games handle the ball, they lose. Blah, 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 blah. It's the only way people understand the team. It's all they know, and it's lazy, and it bothers the hell out of me because I feel like you're not watching every night. You're watching the games that they've blown. Which, again, when they lose? 16 games this year? They're going to win 60 games potentially on Wednesday night. So I won't use the word narrative anymore. I won't do it. I will. I need a better one. Maybe the chat has something.
A portrayal.
A chronicle.
A chronicle.
A chronicle. But wait until the playoffs. Wait until the champion. How's he doing in the final? They were without Jaylen Brown tonight. Did you notice? Did you even notice? Chronicle. But the chronicle is the Chronicles of the Celtics. You can see it now. Off into the distance, a leprechaun says, come win banner 18. Right? Oh, Joe Mazzulla. He's leading the way. And then there's Tatum and Brown and Porzingis. Porzingis comes in as a unicorn, right? The Chronicles of the Celtics. And then there's Pritchard. And there's Hauser. And then here comes Luke Cornett. The Chronicles. I feel like we could get a short story out of that one. I really do. Some creative people out there. The tale of Jason Tatum in clutch time. And you said those numbers are very good, Skaz?
Yes, so if you want to get really into the weeds on it, there is a stat.
Oh, yeah, I like getting into the weeds. There we go,
really into the weeds. There is clutch shooting stats, and then there is clutch squared shooting stats, which I'm sure you're already getting a popsicle headache thinking about. But what clutch squared shooting is basically takes into account the game situation, the score, the win probability with both a make or a miss, and the actual shot result. In those situations in his career, Jason Tatum is shooting 45%, which is a good to very good mark.
Just 45%? That's it?
I would say that's pretty good.
I'm going to take my chances on the Celtics. I'm going to take my chances. Call me a square. Call me a front runner.
Call me a green teamer.
Call you a green teamer. Just don't use the word narrative anymore. The Chronicles of the Green.
I mean, is it a narrative if it's facts?
See, that's the good point.
And we're just telling the story. We're just painting the picture, Joe.
That is a good. Is a chronicle a story?
We're just Bob Ross. We're paint by numbers here.
What was that thing they used to give us in school where you had to write your agenda? That doesn't work. I don't want an agenda. The Chronicles, the tales. I need a better word for this one.
Tales from the Garden.
Tales from the Garden. A green teamer's story. Narrated by Mike Gorman. Brendan Glasheen.
Might have to get to one Mike Gorman tonight as Grant Williams was asked about Mike Gorman's comments.
Let's do that on the other side. And I have some numbers that I wanted to share with you. B to the R to the R to the D. Tony, what's up, bro? Hey, it's WrestleMania week. Did everybody know that? It's in Philadelphia, and I'm not going, and I really wanted to. But I'm not going. But I have gone to many of a WrestleMania. Guess I won't be seeing the final boss. Oh, there's a story in that one too, by the way. The narrative. We do also the agenda of the leprechaun. Me God. All right, we got to go to break. I'm Joe Murray.
Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Celtics 118-104 winners tonight, led by Jason Tatum's 25 points and 10 rebounds, but he only did it in a regular season game against the Hornets, so it doesn't mean anything. But it will mean something on national television Wednesday. All right, back here 98.5, the Sports Hub and YouTube. I'm Joe Murray. Skaz here as well. We'll get into the Grant Williams situation coming up. Also, I have a developing thought in my brain. I'm air frying the take here. For all those that don't know me, I love the air fryer. I air fry everything. Corned beef hash the other day.
Even takes.
Oh, I air fry takes too. But the corned beef hash the other day, out of a can, Skaz. I got a nice metal ramekin. And then I got, instead of using the ramekin, now I use this, like, it's kind of like a cookie paper that you can put in the air fryer so, like, it won't, burn. But you put the corned beef hash in it for, like, 15 minutes, and just every once in a while you just kind of, jiggle it around. Just jiggle it around a little bit. Pop it back on 450 for, like, another 5 minutes. And it's crunchy. Oh, I love canned corned beef hash. Anyways, I've been air frying a take regarding Robert Kraft, and I don't think Mayo or Kraft have done themselves any favors this offseason by what some of the things they've said. So we'll get into that later on, as we're here until midnight tonight. Joe, you look like the one-man gang, says American Boy. Yes. If you look at the emoji, or what is that, an avatar, that is Akeem the African Dream, who was also the one-man gang, same character, wrestling. And I met him in Orlando, and when I went up to him, I don't think he liked me because I looked like him. So, just wanted to share that story. I am air frying takes all night long, and yes, that corned beef and hash, was so good. Just throw it in there, wiggle it around a bit. Speaking of wiggling around a little bit, Grant Williams sounds like he wasn't a good teammate. I don't know. I know you got to go back in history on this one, Skaz, but is the Mike Gorman audio in the system still? Because he didn't have choice things to say about one Grant Williams. And then it was Grant Williams who followed up regarding some of those comments later today. We'll let you hear both of those, but I just, here we are talking about Grant Williams. Which one do we got first? Was this Gorman? Let's hear Gorman on Grant Williams.
Was Grant Williams a huge pain in the ass? Like, you were on the plane and stuff. Was he annoying?
I was on the plane because I didn't travel with the team.
Oh, that's right. Okay, sorry.
But he was annoying. He was annoying to everybody. I think initially everybody thought, isn't he kind of a wise ass, but he's kind of cute and he's kind of funny. And then it just kind of wore thin. And they got thin quickly in Dallas, obviously. If you start to take on Doncic, you're not going to be around for long. So, yeah, he had some issues in that area that if he doesn't get rid of, he's not good enough to have teams say, well, okay, but despite that, we're going to keep him here because he's a great player. He's not. He's an extra. He's an 8th, 9th, 10th guy in your roster. So those guys are very replaceable.
Okay.
Especially if you get a guy's a bad locker room guy. If you're a bad locker room guy, you're the 8th or 9th guy, you're not going to be the 8th or 9th guy for long because you're not going to be on the team for long.
I don't think Grant Williams is a bad guy.
He's also probably not an 8th or 9th guy. Like, he's a pretty solid, and he's probably like a 6th, 7th guy.
He's probably a 7th, 8th guy on a good team. Probably. Started tonight, right? Starter for the Hornets. I think there was something in the locker room where some of the guys wanted him to kind of shut up. And I'll flat out say this. There was a time last year where Grant Williams put his face in Jimmy Butler's. I respected him at the time, but when it happened live, because I think we were both here, I did not like it. I did. I was like, no. Don't poke the Butler. Because you know what he did? He went off on you. And then let's not forget the free throws in Utah. No, that was Cleveland. I'll hit them both. Yeah. If you ever played on forget about professional team, right? If you ever played on like a high school team or like a beer league team, you always have that one nerd who talks too much, right? Any sport, they definitely are wearing goggles. Every team's got one of those guys that's smarter than everybody else that wants to tell you how to do things when really they're not that good. Everyone's got them. I feel like John Sally was that guy for years in the NBA. Was he in Bad Boys? He was, right? John Sally? I think he was. I'm trying to think of some other teams. I'm not going to call Matt Slater that guy. But he was smarter than everybody else. You got to think of a football comparison to that one. But every team, any team you ever played on your life, you had that nerd guy, and that's what Grant Williams is. So did he? Do we have the audio? Did he respond tonight? Oh, I know he did talk to Washburn, and they asked Grant Williams about Mike Gorman's comments on being traded. He talked about his maturity and all these things. It was from the Boston Globe. I got it here. I'll give you the quote in a minute here. But after reading it, guys, I think he took the high road. Right? He just mentioned, he supports Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and both of them posted that Grant Williams is a great teammate after the comments, if you remember that. And he had a chance to catch up. He goes, you can't control people's opinions and what they say. It meant the world to me that Jason and Jaylen came to my defense without me asking. It was pretty cool to see that. It showed the person that I am. I had a lot of great years in Boston. I thought I had a great relationship with Mike, and maybe I still do. Maybe he was commenting on what he thought was happening. I loved watching him and Tommy Heinsohn when I first got there. And now him and Scal, I try my best to keep up with Scal. Gorman's comments definitely caught me off guard. But there are things what they are going to say you can't control. I try to treat people with grace and care. Kind of hurt, but at the same time, you smile through it. And he'll make his return April 12th as he was traded. But that's where he was first drafted. It's the team that believed in him. I had so many great memories. Blah, blah, blah. He said the last few months were a learning experience, but he won't change his positive approach. Talks about his new environment. And he's learned a lot over the last 4 or 5 years. My relationship with Jason Tatum and Jaylen and how I communicate with them are different than how I communicate with Kyrie Irving, Luka, or Brandon Miller or LaMelo Ball. As I continue to grow, I'll continue to get better, but I may try my best to be a leader with my approach every single day. He's trying to be a leader. Sometimes you don't have to talk to be a leader. You know that? You just don't have to.
Look at Tatum. Look at Tim Duncan. Not really talkers.
You think that Celtics need a talker? Who do you think their talker is now?
Missoula.
Oh, yeah. Player, though.
Jaylen likes to mix it up a little
bit. Jaylen talks. Derek White's got a great personality. I love when he talks.
But, like, in-game, mixing it up, I think it's Jaylen.
Yeah. Who's been outstanding defensively. And if I can give you some numbers quickly before we go to break. And we're here till midnight if you want to call in at 617-779-0985. You can also join us on YouTube, which we're here tonight. But I wanted to mention these numbers regarding Tatum. And there's been some lineup changes that I wanted to talk about quickly, but Brown of late, and I apologize, I keep mixing up the two. The defense by Brown of late has been outstanding. Against Luka Doncic, Luka had 57 possessions, 4 of 10 shooting. Steph Curry, 35 possessions, 4 of 10 shooting. Trae Young, 1 of 9. Zion, 46, 2 of... Jaylen Brown has been really good defensively, and the other night he was like, I'm going to cover Zion, and he did. I'm starting to see him elevate a little bit. The best, one of the best was Julius Randle. Because remember, Drew Holiday did it earlier this year, if you remember. This is what I mean about them tweaking things late in the year. Brown is starting to ramp up to cover the best player on the other team, no matter what position he is. But Drew Holiday can do the same thing. To have multiple guys do that is important. The other thing I wanted to mention about the tweaking of the lineups, they had a lineup today of Pritchard, White, and Holiday. The last 63 minutes, the three of them have been on the court. The offensive rating is a 117. The defensive rating is a 108. They're a +9 with a 3-guard group. So Pritchard, White, Holiday as your 3. They run the floor, averaging almost 117 points on their offensive rating. Talk about tweaking down the stretch. If you get into a matchup with, I don't know, the New York Knicks, how about Philadelphia? Can that 3-guard lineup help you? It can, especially if Embiid's out of the lineup. I like the way they've been tinkering. People aren't looking at it. They're only looking at the chronicle, the storyline, the chronicles. Hot narrative. Take a quick break coming up here. We're here until midnight tonight. We got In or Out coming up at 11:20. And the phone number again, 617-779-0985. I see you on YouTube as well. I'm Joe Murray. We'll talk to you right after the break.
Don't go anywhere. There's more.
A minute here regarding the Pats. We're on YouTube tonight. It's our first show on YouTube. So a lot of people are in there. Prince Humperdinck, American Boy, Chess Poems. Who else we got? Angry Turnip, Matthew Harnett. Hi, Matthew. Gravy is in there. KB. A lot of people in there tonight. Bird, B to the R to the R to the D is in there. Stone is in there. I got a couple of tweets, too. Hey, Joe, how about the perception or perspectives? Here's another one. A theorems, or is that a theorems? Theorems. The general proposition of self-evident, but proved by a chain of reasoning. A truth established by means of accepted truths. Ooh, there's a good one, Skaz. No more Twitch. Yep. Instead of narrative, call it the Chronicles of Tatum. I was thinking more like Hauser because it sounds like Narnia. Oh, I talked about geeks on every team or someone that's smarter than, and someone sent me a photo of Johnny Gomes. They kind of needed him that year, huh? Kind of sucked, but at the same time, filled the role. Not Grant Williams, though. Wow. This one just came over, Skaz. The Chiefs, who, by the way, have themselves a little bit of a situation with one of their players, they have signed a veteran backup quarterback. Do you see this name? Carson Wentz. This guy won't go away.
There's a guy teammates love.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you. As we're talking about guys who think they know it all, or yes, how many teams does he play on? So let's think about this. He was with Philly, Washington, the Rams,
Colts, right?
the Rams, Colts, and now he's with the Chiefs. I feel like there's another team in there that we missed. I don't know why. Is there?
No, it just says Eagles, Colts, Commanders, Rams.
Okay. But for a guy that was, what was he, a first-round pick? And was at one point
almost
almost
second overall pick.
Second overall pick, almost MVP of the league, and then got hurt. Not a bad gig, huh? Backing up Patrick Mahomes.
Super Bowl champ, Carson Wentz.
With
the Eagles.
Eagles, that's right. Imagine if he had 2 rings.
I mean, Patriots fans are hoping he never got hurt.
Wait, you said he was the number 2 overall pick?
Yeah, 2016 draft.
Does that... Are you bothered by having the 3rd overall pick this year for the Pats?
No.
I don't like it. Like, Caleb Williams, I do think has the highest upside. I really do believe that.
I'd rather...
But he could suck.
They all could suck, Joe.
That's what I'm saying.
Every single one of them
They all could be Carson Wentz.
But you got to take the swing. You have to. You have the 3rd overall pick.
I know.
You have to take a quarterback.
Leave the bat on your shoulder.
No.
But
not when you're this bad.
I'm upset that the Patriots haven't even met with Michael Penix. They didn't even they had 9 guys at Drake May's pro day, but couldn't send one of those 9 to go see Michael Penix. And I know Adunze didn't work out, but like Polk, they have other guys there. Bothered the hell out of me that they didn't go see him. Bothers the hell out of me.
How much money has Carson Wentz made in his career?
Oh, boy. I'm going to say $175 million.
130.
Ah!
$130 million.
For that bum. That guy's a bum. The RPO. Did he get ruined or did he just suck?
Like a combination.
Yeah, like Mac Jones.
Little RG3 kind of.
Ooh.
But also
another number 2 overall pick.
The thing with Wentz, though, North Dakota State guy, right? So, like, taking him 2 overall, like, I would be more worried about drafting someone like that at 2 than someone who the Patriots are going to draft at 2.
In my opinion, the Pac-12 was the best football conference in the country last year, and people will still debate me on that. Yeah, people think the SEC is the best. It's probably the most competitive. Don't get me wrong. Balanced-wise, competitive. The Pac-12 is the best college football conference last year. Think of all the teams that were in the top 25, the runs that they went on. Washington played 2 great games against Oregon. Yep, they got their asses kicked against Michigan, who had a all-time defense and a really good running game and a great coach. But there are rumors about J.J. McCarthy moving up that we'll get to in a bit. Which, how do you feel about that guy at 3? Are we looking at the next Carson?
Blasphemer!
So you got Carson Wentz vibes with him, right? But he played in the Big Ten. Ugh.
I almost get like one of the Georgia quarterback vibes from him, like the guy that was the backup with the Bills, or
Jake Fromm,
Musburger's favorite guy there. One of those guys.
AJ McCarron.
Yeah, someone like that almost. That was just had all the talent in the world around him, but is he really the guy? Like JJ McCarthy could be good. He could be good, but you don't take him at 3 just because of the measurables.
Don't tell that to Elliot Wolf, who we'll get to in a little bit here. We'll take a quick break. We got to get that. No, we're not taking a break. We're going to the headlines. And the air fryer is beeping. I got to take. I got to let it out. I got to release it. We're doing it next after the headlines here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
WBC-FM 81 bus from the Town Fair Tire Studio, the home of the Bruins, Patriots, Revs, and Celtics.
Come on, Maxi, step back. 3 is good.
Boston's home for sports is 98.5 The Sports Hub, the Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Celtics win tonight, 118-104, led by Jason Tatum's 25 points. They're back in action on Wednesday night when they take on Oklahoma City in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Iowa's going to the Final Four in women's college hoops, led by Caitlyn Clark's 41 points tonight. Right now, UConn leads USC 55-51. That game's heading into the fourth quarter. The Red Sox out to a 8-0 lead right now. RBIs by Tristan Casas. Sadan Rafaela has 2 of them. Jared Duran in the RBI single as well, and Trevor Story has an RBI double. 8-0 Red Sox against the poor, hapless Oakland Athletics. Headlines, they are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray. Next update in 30 minutes.
To go to 3 minutes, Jalen jumps the pass.
Every game.
Up top, Pasternak, here it comes.
Is one step closer to the goal.
The steal, flies over Grayson.
This is the home of the Bruins and the Celtics and their road to the playoffs. Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
We did a segment a while back, Scaz, about winners and losers in free agency. And I think the Patriots, I know it's not complete yet, but I don't give them like I give them barely a passing grade for what they did in free agency. Like I'm talking D-ish, that kind of level. The biggest loser in free agency this year, or for the Patriots offseason, is Robert Kraft. Starting with the dynasty, which was his portrayal of what happened for 20 years, which literally made Bill Belichick look like a villain, made him look like a lot of things. portrayed to be other guys played for Tom or they worked for Bill. There was a lot there. Kraft had comments that regarding Malcolm Butler, that he heard things. This is coming from the owner of the team. The owner of the team also wanted Gerard Mayo to be the coach, and the reports say that they had a deal where Gerard Mayo would take over, and if they didn't, it'd be a $10 million buyout. Like, all of this looks awful for Robert Kraft. All of it. I have a message for you, Robert. Love you. Mean it. You've done great things for the organization. You have. And there's a big but coming. A big but. Stop talking! Stop speaking! Stop! Gerard Mayo literally spilled orange juice on himself speaking, and he blamed it on being a first-year coach. You've been in the game for a long time, my man. Stop talking. You can't be the guy to come out and speak anymore because you're not doing yourself or your team any more favors. Speaking on the shop last week, he needs to go on the shop to tell everybody that they were upset that Jacoby Myers didn't re-sign. What are you doing, bro? You're burying the greatest coach of all time and basically your organization. Like you had nothing to do with it. Like you didn't make the payments or have some involvement in it. Shut up. Stop talking. There needs to be a point where you can't be the guy who speaks on behalf of the team anymore. And you know what? I want it to be Elliott Wolf, but he doesn't have a contract after the draft. And you want it to be Mayo, but again, he'll make a joke about the orange juice and then spill it all over himself. At some point, bro, you got to stop talking. Let the offseason happen. You've done no favors to your team. Oh, the Calvin Ridley. His girlfriend didn't want to come here. By the way, he's married with a kid. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You've done no favors for your team. We pursued the people we wanted in free agency. There was one outstanding receiver. Unfortunately, we couldn't close the deal. It was not because of finance. Stop mentioning the money. You're the guy who can pay the extra $1 million or $2 million like you didn't do with Jacoby Myers, but you're going to blame it all on Bill. Stop speaking. And at some point, I wonder if there'll be another person who does. And I don't know. Do I want it to be Jonathan? I don't know about that. Do I want it to be Robin Glazer? No. Do I? Who? I heard something about a Harry Kraft recently. No. Out. Kraft not doing any favors for his team this offseason. It's been really difficult to just hear Mayo again. Oh, if he's like this, can he coach? Can he coach? And now I'm just starting to wonder with everything Kraft's saying, was it Bill all along? Your thoughts at 617-779-0985. Just, dude. Does he believe what he's saying, by the way? Do you think Kraft believes some of the things that he's saying? Thundercat. Last week, right in front of everybody, right in front of everyone, just talks about the whole make the playoffs expectations. Ugh. X's and O's are where it's at. What? Just some of the things he said last week. Ugh. You can't win in this league consistently unless you have a first-rate quarterback, Kraft said. What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? One way or another, I'd like to see us get a top-rate quarterback.
What do you do?
What? I really mean this, guys. I don't think Mayo has been a disaster as far as speaking was. Disaster. I think Kraft's been worse. And Mayo's the first-year guy who even admitted it. We need a first-rate quarterback. What kind of pressure are you putting on? So now it makes – again, I used the word fuppets one day. Like, this is what Wolf is, Mayo is, Glazer. They're the puppets. That's what they are. But saying that you want to be successful, you need a quarterback. You need a top-rate quarterback. They're drafting a quarterback. Like, that's it. I don't care if Elliott Wolf wants somebody else. They're drafting one. If Wolf likes McCarthy, do you think Kraft's going to jump in there? I do. Bro's got to keep it quiet, man. They need someone else to speak. They need to hire a Larry Lucchino type. For real.
Yeah, and I think that's one of my big takeaways this offseason is that the shield is gone. Bill Belichick is gone. Your scapegoat is gone. The guy, for better or worse, that got all the credit, that it seems that you may have gotten jealous about getting all the credit these last few years, is gone. So now if something goes wrong, people aren't going to point to the first-year head coach or the new GM who were, under the impression that he's somewhat of a figurehead, I think, to some people. How much power he really has, we don't know. So I think, the shield is gone for the Crafts. If this franchise keeps trending in the wrong direction, they're the people to blame. They are at, the forefront of this by their own volition. This is what they wanted. They wanted to be the focal point of this franchise, and now they are. So for better or worse, it's on them.
Can we use a Red Sox analogy here? Red Sox ownership clearly hasn't cared. And they don't care about their fan base. They don't. But they're not. I'm not saying they don't hide from it because, I know Henry really hasn't spoken. So for me to sit here and say, are they hiding from it? They embrace the suck. they're embracing it to the point where it's like, hey, we have a plan here. This is what we're going to do. Kraft, all he does is care about the image. All he does is care about, I was unaware about that. Dude, how could you possibly be unaware? You're this great fan, right? How many times he said about, I was a fan before this? How do you not know about your child care, which is easy to fix, by the way? 2 years in a row, failing grades, but you're a fan of the team. He's got to stop talking at some point. They need someone to speak. That's not Mayo, and that's not Kraft. I think it's Elliott Wolf. But again, Wolf, no contract after the draft. And what else I hear? Want a narrative on that one? Well, Joe, it's not like he's, they don't have something in place. Then give him a contract. Admit it then. Just announce the guy is here after the draft. I don't want to hear another writer tell me, well, Joe, it's a bad take. He's still not on a contract. The guy who's making the most important selection in Patriots history doesn't have a contract after the draft. Yet Mayo and Kraft are going to be the ones speaking. They're spilling juice all over themselves. It's awful. They need another mouthpiece in there. They really, really do. All right, I've been air frying that one for a bit. For real. If another reporter says to me, well, Joe, I think they'll be fine. It's not like Elliott Wolf's there. Why doesn't he have a contract? He speaks the best out of everybody. By the way, Elliott Wolf might be a big fan of J.J. McCarthy. How does that make you feel? How does that make your offseason feel, everybody? So
it's a chunky. Uh-oh, you got a chunky.
Mayo doesn't know what he's talking about. Kraft's burying himself, and then Elliott Wolf likes J.J. McCarthy. Woo! What an offseason by the Patriots. They need someone that can talk. They need a mouthpiece. They don't have one. Bill did it for years and said nothing. That thing was air frying for a while. That thing was cooked medium. I didn't let that out rare. That thing's been stewing for a bit. Please, somebody else speak for the Patriots besides Kraft, Mayo, or even J.J. McCarthy and Elliott Wolf's thoughts. Out. Anything else to add, Scott?
No, I'm glad that one didn't boil over. That one was ready to go.
All right, 617-779-0985. It was in there for a while. 450. 15 minutes, I shook it around and then went another 5. Oh, we got in or out? Oh, it's sponsored? All right. Coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
What's it gonna be, McFly? Are you in or out?
about that. I saw a rumor about Jay Wright going to a certain school, and I went, what? Rah, rah. And I got got.
Yeah, so I am out on this as well, especially the social media ones where it's so obvious for these people. Like Judon today, I don't know. Did you see Matthew Judon's post? He's going into competitive horse riding or something like that.
Is he opening a restaurant or not?
Yeah. So yeah, out on these.
I'm very out on that.
All right, Joe. We'll stay with April Fool's today. Easter Sunday was yesterday. In tradition, you paint some eggs. Maybe there's an Easter egg hunt. Joe, are you in or out on people putting money in the Easter eggs?
In, because when we were kids, we didn't get money. We either got the real egg that we painted the night before. Like, remember that? You used to get the paint, you boil them, and then you paint them yourself. And then the next day, you did an Easter egg hunt, and you found them. You were very delicate with them. The kids don't appreciate money these days, though. You know what they want? Jelly beans.
That's what I want a kid to want, though, Joe. I don't want a kid that's, obsessed with getting, a couple bucks in his Easter egg.
Yeah, but you tell that to a parent. We're not parents.
No.
But imagine
not.
giving kids candy and sugar.
Yeah, that's the best part of not being a parent. You go to these family events, jack them up on sugar, and then you get to leave.
Jack them up, and then you go home.
Yeah.
Play with them all day, and then be like, all right, I got to go.
See you later.
See, that's what I mean. You can buy off your kids now. You can buy them off, baby. But the kids get money now, and they're like, where's my jelly beans? In on the money, though, because you can buy those kids off. They can buy a lot of jelly beans with that kind of money.
All right, Joe, we'll head away from the holidays for this one. Something I saw on Twitter earlier today, and that is that The Undertaker is planning to open a bed and breakfast. Joe, are you in or out on The Undertaker's bed and breakfast?
First thing that popped in my head was the movie My Girl. If you remember, Dan Aykroyd was an undertaker.
He needs his glasses.
Yes. He was an undertaker, though, and they lived in the house where they would embalm and have wakes. So, in a way, that kind of freaks me out. What was the other show? Jason Bateman there. The Money.
Ozark?
They ended up having a funeral home, too, as well. But that's where my brain went originally. But since we're talking about The Undertaker, it's just caskets. There's no embalming going on. Remember we remember the story about the person that was still alive in the casket? Again, I shared my story about the priest didn't show up to the wake, that we paid him already, but then he didn't show up. At least at The Undertaker, it's just caskets.
You think you sleep in a casket at The Undertaker's bed and breakfast?
Would you close the casket, too?
What is he going to call it? The rest in peace or something like that?
Ooh.
2 N's on in.
Ooh. American Badass Inn. We could work on that one. In. I did go to the Undertaker display at WrestleMania a couple of years ago, and they had all sorts of caskets, and they also had what do you call the guys that wear the hoods and do the
like
monks?
Yeah.
There you go.
You think anyone's ever been buried in an Undertaker casket before?
Yeah. Macho Man, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels.
No, I'm saying not a wrestler, like a fan.
Oh.
You think a fan's ever been buried?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Was Paul Bearer buried in an Undertaker casket? If I was the Undertaker, I'd have my own line of caskets.
I'm shocked he doesn't with how those guys market.
By the way, just while we're on this, the casket versus the, the whole how do you want to be buried kind of thing? Like burn the ashes or be buried? Casket's expensive, bro.
I'm with the great Frank Reynolds on this one. Just throw me in the garbage. I don't care what you do.
Like, I don't need my ashes to be spread on the Kowloon parking lot. I don't need that.
Into some saga swings?
Yeah, I don't need it. And the casket could have an endorsement deal. That's right, Zeke. All right, what else we have?
All right, Joe, we alluded to a couple earlier in the show, so we'll try and get to those. Joe, the vending machine took storm this weekend. I mean, he's been taking storm the last couple weeks, but seems like his popularity has an all-time high, and that would be one DJ Burns Jr. To the point where people are saying that he could possibly go to the NFL as a lineman. Joe, are you in or out on the vending machine to the NFL?
In. He ain't going pro. He's not. He might play overseas. That guy's going to make more money in an NIL deal than he will anywhere else. So here's the deal. Somebody already said they'd look at him, right? His footwork, baby. That's what it's all about. Plus, at like 6'8", think about the reach. You know? Like, I don't have T-Rex arms. But, man, I wish I had a lot longer arms. I had, in my day, I had to move to center because, they want the guys with the big, long arms, man. That guy's, he'd be a hell of a tackle. And that footwork, in. Hey, speaking of this, what's your favorite food out of a vending machine?
Oh, that's a good one. Favorite food? I mean, I feel like the classic's the Big Texas, but I was never a huge Big Texas fan. They had cinnamon rolls there. I mean, can I go with a classic, like a bag of Fritos or something like that? Or are you looking for a vending machine, like, specific item?
I think it needs to be specific. None of that healthy stuff either. Like a granola bar? Oh. We should table that for another night. I feel like that really gets in depth. People are still talking about The Undertaker in death. Who would have known that death was a real trigger point tonight for everybody? Funyuns.
That's a good one.
I used to love Chuckles. Remember the Chuckles candy?
No.
Oh, look that up. Chuckles. It was like six pieces of candy with different colors. Yellow, green, red, orange, purple. Yellow, green, orange, red, purple. Might have been 6 or 5.
Never seen these before.
Oh, yeah, Chuckles, baby.
They look like the Spice Drops almost. Yeah.
They weren't spicy, though. They were just chewy and very sugary. And I loved them. Oh, Jake the Snake Roberts was buried in a wicker basket, someone said. All right, we'll work on that vending machine. I know a guy that could tell you vending machine foods better than anybody in the world. His name is Dude. I don't know if you remember Dude.
I don't know.
He did a podcast with Bird years ago. It was the Dude in Bird.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I vaguely do remember that.
He could tell you everything about a vending machine.
That's where the Slammin' Hottie or whatever it was that they used to do.
The Slow Bangers.
Yes, there it is, yeah. Cool. How could I forget?
The Slow Bangers. Yeah. All right. What else?
All right, Joe. Freaky Friday 2 is in the works with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan, where they will play or switch places with the daughter of Lindsay Lohan and her best friend in the movie. Joe, are you in or out on Freaky Friday 2?
It's weird. I'm kind of like the Jamie Lee Curtis in a horror movie. I'm kind of always in on. I watched True Lies the other night. You ever see that scene with her? Risque.
Can't say that I have.
Oh. Au contraire.
She might be making it on the Dude and Bird show, is what you're telling me?
I don't know if I'd call her a slewbagger, but she definitely did the dance. And, after what happened with Mean Girls 2, I think Lindsay Lohan needs some more money. Because I didn't see Mean Girls 2, but I won't see Mean Girls 2.
Apparently she was in some horrible Netflix movie as well called like The Irish Wish or something that came out that is just getting terrible reviews.
She's just like, it sucks for these people. Like Clarissa explains it all. What could she ever be again after Clarissa?
I don't know who Clarissa is, so.
Oh my God. You know who Melissa Joan Hart is?
Yes.
That's Clarissa.
Okay.
Well,
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
She was in, yes. There you go. But see, I don't know her as Sabrina.
That was more my ballpark.
And she was the girl with the yearbook, I believe, and Can't Hardly Wait. Did you ever see that movie?
I have seen that.
Okay, thank you. Whew. Sometimes, Skaz, there was something the other day you told me you didn't see, and I almost fell off my chair. What was that?
I don't want to incriminate myself.
Oh,
so
you know,
I won't
you know
name
what it
it.
was.
No, I don't remember, but nervous back here.
We're here until midnight tonight. We're playing in or out. Anything else?
Yes, you earlier said that you had one that you were saving.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think, let me guess, if we were watching the TV at the same time. Joe, that would be one, Jaron Duran's hair. Joe, are you in or out on Duran's hair? Was I right?
No, but you might as well. Yeah, that's one. The one is the small lettering on the back of the jerseys.
Oh, out.
Out!
Out.
Listen, Fanatics, listen to me. I like you guys. I did a show this year where you guys were the presenting sponsor. I buy a lot of memorabilia from you guys in trading cards. So I say this out of love. You got to find some clothes that fits me. Or the vending machine. By the way, those pants are see-through. And, like, I don't think people are wearing, like, tighty-whities anymore when they play ball. So you can see through the pants, and the names are really small. Now, as for Jared Duran's hair, kind of in on it. You know why?
I'm kind of in on it, too.
It's weird. Did something happen?
I don't know, but I'm in. It's almost like one of those it's so bad it's good things.
Let me just say this. It's hard for me to talk about someone's appearance, okay? I'll get that out of the way.
I thought you were going to say hair for a second.
I don't have hair either, okay? That's another thing. I don't have hair. I don't care if you paint your fingernails. I don't care what color you know your hair is.
No moral high ground.
There is no moral high ground on this show. If he plays well, the hair's good. If he sucks, I'll get on him about the hair. That's it. That's how I'm going to keep it. Just like if a guy shaves his mustache. If he sucks after it, get that mustache back, boy. Or the beard. Derek White's done pretty well since he shaved his head, huh? Oh, yeah, Big Jim did say he looked like Doc Brown from Back to the Future. Great Scott! Lindsay Lohan. People still talking about Lindsay Lohan. I don't know. You know what? Someone's out on the finger painting. Hey, can I get this out of the way?
In.
Who cares? Who cares?
I thoroughly enjoy it because it bothers people.
Oh, I'm with you. Who cares what color Caleb Williams' fingernails are? I've seen players my whole entire life. I'm talking mid-90s.
Dennis Rodman ring a bell? I mean, did he ever do anything?
I'm just talking about guys that I knew that would write, like, that they hated, like, the other team that they were playing. There were guys that had, like, screw you Joe on, like, their fingernails in football. Like, I would be I'd be dead, and somebody would write on their knuckles. Or, I've seen that my whole entire life. I don't care about your fingernails. I don't care what you do. Oh, so catchers, right? They paint their fingernails, right?
Veritek always had his
Is it a
nails
problem?
painted.
This discussion drives me. One more. Why not? They can't go off on that note.
All right, one more. We'll go to this one. This comes from a very close friend of the show, one Sammy P. Sam Payanovich. Did you see?
He's in Vegas, I believe.
Did you see a food item that he tweeted over the weekend?
I saw it, like a pizza that he had.
No. So Sammy P, I believe it was over the weekend. He tweeted what was a bag of Reese's peanut butter chocolate covered animal crackers.
Oh, I saw that.
Are you in or out?
In.
Couldn't be more in.
Here's the thing. An animal cracker is just a vanilla cracker. That's it. It's plain. There's nothing more to it. It's just an animal cracker. I don't even know if it has sugar. I don't know. I don't care about the ingredients. You give it to little children, they're happy. Dip a little chocolate on that bad boy. This goes back to my Trader Joe's banana, chocolate-covered banana. How about frozen chocolate-covered animal crackers?
In. Very in.
The animal cracker is like somewhat underrated, but yet some people will say it's overrated.
I like the ones with the icing on them, like the old school.
Like a Dunkaroo.
Yeah, kind of, but like not even that. It's more just like they like come with the icing on them.
You're
not aware?
The animal cracker days are behind me.
Yeah.
I did buy a huge BJ's version of animal crackers once. Great snack to eat when you're
little late night snack
under the influence. All right, we got to go to break. Headlines coming up next. In or out. Thank you again, presented by Dulce Vita Tequila. Great job, Skaz. Thank you to everybody on YouTube. Final headline of the night coming up next.
Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Celtics winners tonight, 118-104 over Charlotte. 25 points from Jason Tatum. They'll play the Oklahoma City Thunder on Wednesday night, and potential MVP SGA Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The Red Sox are rolling. the Boston Herald. Kyle Duggar, not happy with the transition tag. And the seldom used transition tag, by the way, which made Kyle Duggar a restricted free agent and gave the Patriots the opportunity to match any offer for him. So no offers have come way of Kyle Duggar yet, as we know. And he's going to get the average of the top 10 salaries at the safety position. He's going to get a huge pay increase. But yet it's upsetting to Kyle Duggar. He remains dissatisfied with the transition tag, a 1-year, $13.2 million placeholder. Callahan wrote on Sunday, as of late this week, he had not signed the tag. It was the first time Duggar had the chance to test free agency in his career, but the Patriots obviously didn't want to let him walk out the door. Third on the team last year in tackles. He's had 9 interceptions over 3 seasons. So the Patriots, by the way, don't have a lot of depth at the safety position. They let Adrian Phillips go. Jalen Mills went out elsewhere. And they have signed Jalen Hawkins, but he's a special teamer. So Callahan also mentioned the possibility of the Patriots trading Duggar if he remains disgruntled. What would they get for him? A 4th-round pick? This is the stuff that should drive you crazy. A kid drafted in the 2nd round out of Lauren Ryan, whatever it was, who's been a player they've developed, and you know what? Pretty good safety. Now, I'll tell you this much. There's a ton of safeties that are available. I don't think they read the market right, the Patriots, or Duggar for that matter. What's he so upset about $13 million? Is it because of the guaranteed money in a long-term deal? Is that what it is? And if he's so upset and doesn't want to be here, and then you're forced to trade him, you're going to get a 4th-round pick? That sucks. I'd rather the player and you pay his ass. They're in a way, I do think $13 million is a good cost for a kid who made nothing a year ago. Little money. But now you've angered him. You want him to be a clog in your defense and a potential captain? And you're going to have him play on a $13 million 1-year deal with no guarantee, no upfront money or signing bonus? This is something that should piss people off. Because it certainly pissed Kyle Duggar off. What's he have to do? Drafted in the 2nd round, has started, played well, can play linebacker at times, plays in the box, makes plays for you. I'm not saying he's a Pro Bowler, but he could be at some point. He's dissatisfied. How many other players are dissatisfied? But all you hear about is how much everyone loves playing for Gerard Mayo. This is someone you should sign. You signed all the other crap free agents that you had. Sign this guy. Give him an extension. Give him some upfront money.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray.
pitch, 17 hits, 4 earned, 1 walk, 37 strikeouts. Their starting rotation ERA is 1.29. They're averaging 5.6 innings per start. Impressive. And Andrew Bailey is going to get all the credit. And Andrew Bailey, of course, these are the strikeout numbers. Tanner Houck had 10 today. Pavetta had 10. Whitlock had 8. Crawford had 7. It's looking like a good hire here, everybody. Not the old Oakland A's like I grew up. Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco, Dave Henderson, Ricky Henderson, Terry Steinbach, Carney Lansford, Harold Baines. Nope, not Skaz's A's. With Scott Hatterberg and Miguel Tejada and Eric Chavez and Chris Singleton and Jermaine Dye and Eric Burns. Nope, not those guys. These are the really sucky Oakland A's who want to move to Vegas. That's where Andrew Bailey played Oakland, everybody. All right, we're out of here tonight. Thank you, James Scaramuzzino. I'm Joe Murray. Thank you, YouTube. We're back here tomorrow night at 7 o'clock right here on 98.5 The Sports Zone.